good morning, folks. We're going to do some artwork this morning for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, an adventure in the Eberron campaign setting that we're creating. You can see the book cover here on screen. It's called Crystals in My Bar. Let me check my volume here real quick. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Let me check my volume here real quick. I think I'm a little low. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Bring that up. I think I'm a little low. I think I should probably take care of it. Bring that up. Check. Check. Yeah, that's good enough. All right, let me drop that volume down there. And if there's any volume issues, somebody shout out and let me know. But yeah, we're creating adventure stuff for this adventure that we're creating. So I'm just now finishing up my social media posts to get things going. We'll do art for about an hour or so this morning, and then we're going to be on later on tonight doing Spelljammer, Eberron, Mecha, Kaiju, bashing campaign design. And I'm really looking forward to that. So let's see, skirp. Rearranging my screen real quick to get things started. And if you're still there with me, audience, anyone that thinks this stuff is cool today, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications. We have new subscribers. Thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate people taking an interest in the stuff that we're doing here. So I've got a bunch of books that I've created on DMsGuild already. They all have free previews, and they're chock full of the artwork that I do. So if you like my art and you like my design ideas, if you want to buy a book to support the effort, whatever books get sold the most, I generally make the supplements for. So the color mana spell point variant rules recently went gold bestseller. So I'm making more books for that. God bless you guys. And we'll be doing more. We'll continue to do more Spelljammer stuff as it comes along. So let's see, get this book cover out of the way, and we're making a blood golem right now, which is a collection of sacrificed bodies to an undead ritual, plus the necrotic energy from that undead ritual. As the ritual collapses, if the characters are successful in disrupting the ritual, then the necrotic energy collapses onto the bodies of those sacrificed to create this blood golem that then animates itself and becomes a boss fight for the team to deal with. In the short, without getting too into the weeds of details, because it's the climax of the battle. There's a whole artifact quest thing going on, and people being sacrificed to this ritual to create a manifest zone to the plane of Mabar, which is the plane of undeath and night and darkness in the world of Eberron. So all the undead channel. There we go. Some red in there. The energies that channel the undead, the unlife of undead. That comes from the plane of Mabar. So these necromancers have tapped into that plane and are attempting to convert some of the world of Eberron into the plane of Mabar for them to be able to harvest the necrotic energies that just naturally radiate in that world, so they can make cheap undead and cheap darkness rituals, and create material components that can be harvested for sprinkling the dirt from the plane of Mabar. Like, for instance, you scatter that onto a corpse, it'll rise in 24 hours. Only problem is that they have full independent sentient control of themselves, so you can only influence, you can't command them, and the dumb ones are just going to try to eat you. So it's kind of a mixed bag there. You get the good and you get the bad. They're mostly using this as a money-making and status acquiring effort, so they can get in tight with high-level evil archmages to help fund their necrotic experiments, since the Emerald, the Cult of the Emerald Claw, or the Blood of Vol, the religion Blood of Vol, since it's no longer allowed in Karnath society. It was their religion, and they leaned heavy on it during the last war to animate dead to bolster their armies. So when they needed it, the Blood of Vol was incredibly convenient and a national savior. But now that the war's over, all this necromancy stuff is turning into war crimes, and these people that had been these officers that had been heralded as the heroes of victory are now criminals and on the lam. And the Emerald Claw is like basically a previously state-funded paramilitary organization that produced necromancers that were needed for the war. So that whole religion has become basically illegal and can get you imprisoned now. So they're trying to figure out how can they retain the power that they had been given while navigating the legal structure. So it's a really interesting geopolitical situation for the Eberron campaign setting. I love that. Eberron is such a fantastic world to build adventures in. I ran Cypher System with Eberron for about a year, and it was fantastic. Super fun stuff. Highly recommend. Just gonna keep making these bodies here. So I'm just blending the bodies into the necrotic blood mass, and I'm gonna skin over these with zombies, like zombie flesh, and bolster that stuff up. But I want to continue figuring out the line work here, just basically building out the basic form before I continue to fancify it. I like this curve that's going on inside here. That's really cool. So I'm gonna do that. The further away it gets from the mass, the central mass, the more black the blood fades out of it and it just leaves the necrotic energy, so it turns to black outline. But as you get closer to the central mass, it picks up blood from the sacrificed bodies to help fuel it. Basically, what happens is if the team is able, there's the Eye of Mabar, the artifact that's powering the ritual to create the manifest zone. If that's taken out of the ritual nexus, the manifest zone will start to collapse. The ritual is ruined. Disrupted is the proper word there. The ritual gets disrupted. The manifest zone will begin to collapse. The necrotic force, the power gets cut off. And so the artifact attempts to, because artifacts are sentient, it attempts to retain power by animating this necrotic ooze with all the bodies in it to chase after the characters because they took the artifact from the Nexus. So if the eye is taken out of the mass, so the eye can't transform into anything, and the eye wants to hatch and become a new Ultraloth daemon. The Yugoloths are a type of demon that dwell in the plane of Mabar, and the Ultraloth are like CR12 generals of undead armies, and so if this ritual is successful, not only will it permanize a manifest zone where the ritual is being cast here in Karn, but it then births a new Ultraloth that gains command of the portal that passes between here and Mabar through the manifest zone. And so he's just going to walk an undead army through the portal and start attacking the world. And the necromancer that has been performing this ritual is sacrificed as well to the eye as it births the new demon. It takes the necromancer's body and reshapes it into the Yugoloth. If it can't get the eye back into the mass of undead energy, it'll just collapse in on itself and die. If the eye is able, if this blood golem is able to get the eye, is able to claim the eye, it basically pulls it in and then collapses the whole frame into a new body with what energy is left of this golem, which will end up being a Kenaloth, which is the Ultraloth is CR12 and is the best. Canoloth is CR4 and is the worst. So it's going to get what it gets, and it's going to, in the body that it's able to produce, it's going to attempt chaos and find a way to reconnect to Mabar as a expansion, or rather as a next steps of this adventure. If you fail at reclaiming the ritual, or reclaiming the artifact during the ritual, it forms a body and then runs away. So you can follow up with that as we know there's a demon loose in the Carnwood. We have to go track it down, and that could lead to all sorts of fun, but that's beyond the scope of the adventure. It'll start creating undead and forming an army to attack some community, probably yours. I would. There, let's make that. I just want to clean up these edges a little bit so it's more liquid-like. That's where a lot of the time spent on this piece is going towards, is liquefying and trying to smooth out the curves on this so it has that the natural viscosity that the ooze should have. It's mostly mindless work. It's just pushing pixels, right? And occasionally I have decisions to make or inspirations about doing something, but for the most part I'm just rendering and doing some cleanup along the edges here. Let's do that. Just round that out so it's nice and smooth. This is episode 599. So tomorrow will be our 600th episode of creating these assets for the adventure. That's crazy. That is crazy. This is the largest project I've ever tackled. It's effectively 200 pages. It's got something like... Hey, what's up? Domendamu. Domo Damu. Hey. Right on, man. How you doing? Yeah, episode 5. Tomorrow is my 600th episode of creating of this content, of creating the Crystals of Mabar adventure. Here's the for those that are undoctrinated. Here, let me conceal the reference images here. There. So this is the 16:9 format. As you can see here, here's like the Canoloth. Here's the stat block from the monster manual for the Canoloth, and we can fit it into this column here. This is a 12-point font. This is 17 inches wide, 10 inches tall on a device. It fits really, really well into the 16:9 format. Horizontally, the whole thing is 16:9, but each column is also 16:9. So when you're looking at this on a device, it's a PDF. Obviously, you're going to be looking at it on some sort of device, whether it's a tablet behind your DM screen so you can flip from page to page during the adventure, or as a side screen when you're running on virtual tabletop. It's really built to utilize the device that a PDF is meant to be viewed on. So I'm trying to change up my formatting, and it's very generous. With obviously with the text placement that we have, it makes it super easy to have very, very high-sized font to make it easy to read what's going on. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm excited about this format, but it's a 104-page adventure at this format, so it's effectively 200 pages worth of content. That it's got a lot of loops in the dungeons, and the plot itself, like the storyline, also loops. So you can move back and forth through the adventure to different areas to be able to explore stuff as you want, or you can try to speed run it if you want to, depending on how you decide to run the adventure and how the players decide to respond to it. It's fun. It's a cool adventure. I'm really, really proud of it. It's the first published adventure that I've ever created, and it's the first content for Eberron that I've ever created. Most of the stuff that I do is Magic the Gathering, so... that or Spelljammer. These days, it's either Magic or Spelljamming. So I love Spelljammer. And that book was so fun to produce. And so we're going to be running an XCOM style mecha kaiju game built in the orbit of Eberron, using the Spelljammer mechanics that we published last year. I'll be working on that tonight. So we've been fleshing out an encounter list for the different type of kaiju that can attack the communities that the teams are protecting. and we built out like a 50-foot cloaker and 30-foot dark mantles last session, and developed some of the plot hooks that are going to be floating around the sandbox sort of. It's not really a sandbox because I guess it kind of is. Like, you have a territory that your characters control, and the spelljamming ship that they have is both the commerce is like the trade caravan, the generic like escort mission of a merchant caravan traveling across the land from one community to another, being attacked by bandits. So your first level characters hire on, and lo and behold, bandits attack, and you have you get to fight the bandits, and then find out more about the criminal elements that are in the woods, and then form a posse and go attack them. That's your D&D campaigns, right? Well, with the Spelljammer, the ship that the characters are in command of is the only ship in the community that is capable of fast travel between worlds. So it's used as a merchant caravan. So the team owns the merchant caravan, but it's also a carrier ship that deploys mecha to fight kaiju that will attack these communities. So the characters are both transporting goods between these different asteroid communities, and they're defending them from monsters. And then on the rocks, like, they're mining electrum and iron on two of the nearby orbiting the two by uninhabited asteroids. And it's an Eberron campaign. So in Eberron, when you delve too deep into the ground, you hit Kyber. And Kyber is the mythic dungeon that is attempting to kill everyone. Kyber was the evil dragon that was needed to balance the world of Eberron to be able to create life on it. So there's Eberron, the dragon of the earth, or like dragon like represents flesh. And then there's Sybaris, which is the higher state, or like the divine ascending spirit of mortality. And then there's Kyber, which is the evil element, the dark god in Zoroastrianism, as it were. Sybaris would be the god of light, and Kyber is the god of darkness. And there was a battle. Kyber got banished to beneath the earth. So now, if you delve too deep into the earth, you crack open Underdark, which is mythic dungeon Kyber as a dungeon attempting to kill your characters if you delve into it. So since the asteroids are of Eberron as well, all the asteroids carry the essence of Kyber as well. So if the asteroid is too big and you dig too deep, you crack open Kyber, and now tentacle monsters and shit are coming after your miners, and they get killed. So you have to send in a delving team to go clear out the evil. It could be, it could be Zorns, it could be Beholder, it could be a colony of Illithid, it could be sentient oozes, whatever. It's evil shit, like gibbering mouthers and stuff like that. All sorts of chaos creatures are basically down there waiting, digging towards the surface, and you accommodate them by mining the minerals. And so now you have to deal with all this Kyber evil, and you have to get rid of it because the metal gets tainted. So you have to deal with it, otherwise the whole operation is a loss. So you send in a delving team to go kill out all the monsters. That becomes your dungeon crawl. So we've got Mecha Kaiju in space amongst the asteroids with our character Spelljammer Mecha. We have dungeon delving with clearing Kyber dungeons. We've got space pirates that are the Pirates of Lozar are in space in their own spelljamming ships that harass small communities like the one that your team protects. So Kaiju could come and attack. Pirates could come and try to raid the communities and steal their resources, like literal resource points from the communities, orders and things that they're able to do on like we have a bastion turn, which is each week. And so if assigned, a community can perform a specific task to try to assist the characters somehow, and they have to spend resource points, kind of like spell points to cast spells. Community have to spend resource points to be able to produce effects, and if they get attacked by pirates, they lose they lose bastion points like they were hit points. So if you're hurt, you don't have as many points available, which means you have less stuff that you can do. It's a fun action economy system, but it's at the settlement level, or it's a bastion system. So it represents collective groups of sentient creatures working together to produce results in various forms of making things, or establishing trade routes, or harvesting different types of materials like mining ore from an asteroid. The material, it's a mineral material that is used, is consumed to craft items like ships, armor, shields, magical equipment, whatever it is that you're doing. So you either have animal, mineral, or vegetable materials. Those are basically the only three types of materials that exist. And so you can harvest a material, and you can be narrative about what the material is. But as long as you have mineral materials, you can make items that require mineral materials like armor and shields and swords and all that stuff. And then you just narrate, what are those materials? What kind of ore are we using? What kind of flavor do we want to add to that? And that just becomes descriptive text, because the only mechanical implication is what type, what kingdom is it? Is it plant, animal, or mineral? And once you establish that, then you just basically just narrate. Yeah, in this community they grow wheat and barley and have apple orchards. So like they have a vegetable resource. They harvest vegetable materials, but I can add in a couple different types of materials there to say these are the different things that are being mined. Like if your community is harvesting mineral materials, you could have there could be salt and iron mines within the region, or we do pearl diving. We have pearl farms underwater. That's actually an animal material. So like we have stables, we have like goat herds and sheep herds, and schools of space fish, like space salmon that are farmed in another community or as part of another harvesting effort. So these are like the different ideas you can use with like harvesting material to create these effects. Like if I have animal, if I can provide animal materials, then I can do things like sacks, leather armor, candles, and you provide the material as a general resource, and then you just narrate what does that mean. So you can have different regions, like this region over here doesn't have any good mineral materials to use. So instead they're adapting animal materials, like they're raising Ankheg, or there's a Formian colony that sheds its chitin and trades to the town occasionally, and they can use that chitin to create objects that would normally be made with minerals. Like you can make chitin shields and chitin swords, kind of like Dark Sun. Dark Sun is a world that is mineral poor and animal heavy. So they harvest animal parts to do things that they would normally do with minerals. So it's a fun way to bend the economy and the resources that are in the game, and it provides a resource point system to be able to, like I said, like kind of like casting or maintaining concentration on spells. You're expending your spell points to produce these effects. Similarly, communities spend their resource points to produce effects as well. And when kaiju attack or pirates raid them, they lose those resources until the community can recover. So if a community would normally have, like, say 19 bastion points, and it got attacked by a kaiju and lost 7 of those points, until it can spend enough time repairing all the facilities and structures that were damaged by the attack, they only have 12 points to do the stuff that they used to do 19 points with. So they have to give some shit up. Like the lifestyle of the community may erode. They may be less successful. They won't have as many resources to succeed at the orders that you're issuing, and you'd have to issue the order to repair the place to be able to get it back up and running again. So you're issuing orders to repair instead of issuing orders to like craft new magic items or whatever. So it's so the team wants to defend the communities from kaiju because they won't have any resource points available for them to do cool stuff with if they're always damaged and being repaired. And then the team can venture away from home to go negotiate with people, or like chase down pirates where they in their lair and fight them there. Right now, I'm planning on running this campaign on my Discord server, and I use Roll20 and Virtual Tabletop when I do stuff. But I'm not a big map enthusiast. This system allows for mapping, but I really enjoy theater of the mind for the most part. So I think I'll probably have a limited map during the campaign where I want to play 5-foot square combat with the Mecha Kaiju system, even though I'm not super enthusiastic about doing square grid combat. I really enjoy the fluidity and freedom of theater of the mind without being locked down to the grid. But a lot of the mechanics that we develop here are for 5-foot scale grid combat, ironically. So I think I'm going to do a mix of theater of the mind and grid combat. I'm still figuring that out, but we're not planning on launching this campaign until February. So I'm looking for a stable team of people that are willing to play, but it's either going to have to be Monday night or Saturday morning. I'm not sure which, but planning on starting at 5th level and rolling through probably through 14th level. 13th, 14th, somewhere around there is where we'll end up stopping. And I plan for us to gain 1 level per month, for play once a week, 4 sessions per month. Each month will be 1 bastion turn, so the team can collect their resources and issue new orders and do repairs and create new magic items and all the things. And we'll have essentially 8 bastion turns over the course of the 8 months. And hey, what's up? Hey, Defectus, good to see you. I used to be really map heavy when running campaigns, but have eased off in recent years. Yeah, I just don't have the time to build extensive maps like I did for the Mega Dungeon. We ran a Mega Dungeon from level 5 through 9. No, it was level 3. We started at level 3 through 9. Ran a Mega Dungeon on my Discord channel from April, and it finished in September. And that was for the martial powers system that we've been developing. We play tested martial powers with full casters using the color mana system, and I loved that. That was a ton of fucking fun, and we had a number of players that were recurring. So we had a small stable of players that would queue in and play. But I'm hoping for the Spelljammer campaign that I'll have a stable, committed team of 4 players that will ride and die with having committed to making sure that they show up to make the game happen. Because the problem with having a floating roster of players, you might get. I can play with at least 3 people, but sometimes you can only get 2 people to show up because I'm not paying anyone to play test. It's for the love of the game, and God bless, I have enough people that hang out that we can, for the most part, cobble a team together to just run shit off of the ideas that I like to build with. So I'm very, very blessed in that sense. But I'm hoping to be able to have a committed 4 people, maybe 4 with a floater, maybe, of sticking around on a monthly basis to, each week for a month for 8 months to run a campaign with me, to be able to stress test the system. And the Bastion system is pretty solid. I've been running that on my home table. I've been running that for about a year now in a Spelljammer Eberron campaign where they run a mining operation and fight monsters and pirates and all the things that we were talking about for this campaign. We're just going to be approaching them different in this campaign. But they've got mecha and they go to they're about to start a new delve. There was sabotage in a gold mine that they're working on in orbit near Droam territory, and they've been fighting Droam a lot. So they're in a small unofficial. They're in military operations with Droam right now, and so it's not an official war, but they're killing each other. So they suspect that the cave-in at the mine was sabotaged. So they're sending in, and the adventurer is sending in investigators to determine the origin and cause of the cave-in, but to also look for any survivors and dig them out. And usually when Droam ambushes them with something nasty like this, they leave behind presents for the rescue teams in the form of bombs and magical traps and stuff that will kill the rescuers. So really nasty operations in there, and we'll probably find some trolls that are buried in the asteroid somewhere that'll get dug up that the team will have to deal with. That's my homebrew campaign. That's all theater of the mind. Occasionally, I'll draw a map of like what the mining complex is like for them to decide where in the mine do they want to explore stuff next, or if it's a cavern network, I'll do an easy stick and circle sort of map like this. Like this is what the cavern complex looks like. So they start here, they go to here, they can choose here, here. And then they'll up over here, like maybe it'll be like an offshoot over here, so they can jacque their way around this cavern complex, and there'll be different monsters. But it's all theater of the mind. It's theater of the mind makes things so flexible, and the DM can change things on the fly and introduce new threats because there is nothing officially written down. The problem with the map is that as soon as you go off the map, it's obvious that you're off the map. It's like, oh, we're expanding into territory you hadn't anticipated. You're improvising at this point out, and that to me, that's a big tip of the hand. I don't like having my hand tipped like that when I DM. So when I'm running an ongoing campaign where the team's decisions have ongoing effects that will affect the rest of the campaign, I like to just be in theater of the mind. So they never know when I'm making shit up or when this was something that was planned. That's a really important element for me in my DMing style. Like when I'm running an ongoing campaign, these playtesting campaigns have pretty strong parameters, like what are we exactly testing here? And that puts a lot of fences around what the campaign could be. And I'm attempting to loosen those restraints to make this campaign run. But I'm running into the problem again of, if I'm going to run the campaign the way I want to run it, I can't have a bunch of maps so they don't know when the ideas that they come up with to protect the community or something isn't something I had already thought of. Because it's fine if they catch me off guard, and my players love it when they know they've caught me. But so it's like a game of theirs to try to fuck with me and come up with crazy ideas that I hadn't anticipated and see if I flinch or not, And God bless, for the most part, I've been doing this for 40 years, so I've got a pretty good poker face when it comes to DMing. But that's reliant on me not having a bunch of prepared elements on the table for them to, we're off the map now, so we're making shit up. If I don't have a map, they'll never know if we're on it or not. I can run entire campaigns on the fly if I don't have to have any maps, because I can just narrate and bullshit, and I'm pretty good with timing and adventure beats and pacing and pushing the characters when they're lulling and introducing random chaos and like creating new areas of like, hey, here's a spontaneous place for you to explore that got triggered by this idea you had. And if it's not something the DM has prepared already, it feels like, oh, this wasn't what we were supposed to do. And that just feels bad. So I really try to avoid that. So I'm still sussing out how am I going to pace and how am I going to depict the battles, because the Spelljammer battles are really, really good with grid combat, but I don't like running grid combat. So in my other campaign, again, it's all theater of the mind. They have their mecha, they're fighting monsters. We don't worry nearly as much about like reactions and shit like that. I'll just tell them, hey, you can get an attack on this, and that's DM fiat, unless they're like preparing for it. It's like, yeah, I want to prepare it so like if we do this like wombo combo, I want to use my reaction to do a kicker effect on this. And since we aren't using grid combat and like opportunity attacks and like that are far less monitored, that floating reaction basically becomes like an ad hoc add-on, like an extra bonus action you can do. And that actually works really well. I think I would recommend that for Theater of the Mind in general. that instead of worrying about how are the reactions going to be used, just give them an extra bonus action instead. So that they could use it at any time that they want. It's just a floating bonus action to do something with. And that's a very, I guess, a very nimble, like the nimble RPG that spawned from trying to make 5e combat more fluid. That feels like a very nimble sort of thing to do, but it's really fun. It works really well. I've been skipping you guys. What's up? This is my UK time zone makes it. Oh, that's fair, man. Dude, you don't owe me anything. None of you owe me anything. I'm thrilled and honored that anyone shows up at all. So make it up on the fly, and then somehow secretly railroading in the back to the ore map. Nice. Yeah, exactly. It's because this is what they wanted to do, but they found a weird way to get to where we're going. My job as a DM is to figure out how can I get us back on route and make it make sense. So it's not like, how to put it, if the players agree to run the campaign, to play the campaign that the DM runs, and the DM is running content, and the players are going in a direction that the DM hadn't anticipated, it's not the DM's job to say, hey, you guys are, it's not to throw up like a zone wall. So it's like, you can't proceed in that direction right now. Instead, it's you want to circle them back around or reposition the elements that you have so that the choices that they made are changing how you arrive at the content that you had produced. So it becomes a decision-making process of the players, and that they can go about solving any problems that they want any way that they please. And my job as a DM is to see how does what they're doing work with the content that I can actually do for them. So it becomes like this the DM is improving over the decisions that the players don't know they got wrong, quote unquote. You see what I'm saying? So, and the better you get at building logical pathways that can lead them from their conclusions to the content that you want to play for them, that's like, those are really advanced DM skills, like manipulating your team to feel like they're doing what they want while utilizing content that you have prepared. That's not manipulative. That's good storytelling. If your team can't tell the difference, you are telling a good story that you have prepared and are nimble enough, quote unquote, nimble enough to be able to figure out how to make the content that you have produced relevant to the things that the team is trying to do. And that ends up creating an improvised story that feels organic and natural because it has things that exist in the world responding and reacting to the decisions that the team makes, because the DM has to make that content work with the decisions that the team is making. You see how that works? I mean, I think you already know this type of stuff, and the fact that I know you guys understand these premises, but there could be other people that are lurking on the channel that don't know these ideas or might be new to playing D&D in general, or don't know what role-playing games are all about. These are some of those ideas. Looks like we figured out how to do spines in these tentacles. That's actually really fucking cool. I liked this. So I think what's going to end up happening is I'm going to merge this down, and we're going to create a new layer here to overlay that with, and we're going to put a skin over it like this. I'm going to smudge it out a little bit like that. This is a new layer, so we're overlaying this over the spines that we just created. And now I can drop the opacity on them, and they seep through, but I can, the ones that are in the top of the curve are going to be the ones that are pushed out the most towards the surface, so you'll see them more. So we can have like this receding lighting effect going on here. I think that's really fun. And then we'll add in another layer on top of it. I see text. Hold on. I'm not ignoring you. I'm in a thing here. Let me get through my thing. There, like that. See, that's a fun effect. Hi, what's up? Murder hoboing stuff.
drew a prison once, and the players were like, how'd you know we'd end up here? I'm like, you guys know how you play, right?
Yeah, I've had to throw my players in jail a number of times as well. It just, yeah. And generally, the younger the team is, the more prone to murder hoboing they are. I mean, I think that's just an aspect of youth. I'm gonna have another spine here. These spines are adding a lot of inspiration for the structure that I'm building, because we have this pile of corpses, and now that we have these spines introduced as ways of creating these tentacles, that gives me reason. That gives me a source and destined, like a way to make these corpses more interact more with the ooze that they're encased inside of. So this was a huge victory. It's going to take a number of days for us to get this one finished, but I'm here for the ride, you know. Right now, off screen, what I've been focusing on is setting up hyperlinks. Like every time it says like this, go down this passage that leads to Area 6. I'm in the process of building out the links that when you click on, it'll have like takes you to Area 6. Area 6 is bolded. And then you click on it, and it'll bounce you to Area 6 inside the document. So that's I'm doing the link building and yada yada right now. So that's what I'm focusing on off screen. Like that's really boring work. I can't really talk while I do all that linking stuff because it's text focused and it's reading, and like when I'm doing design work, that's all text focused and reading and writing and stuff like that. But we're designing ideas and logicking our way through the document and how the game system works. Like we're actually doing like game development on streams on Mondays and Thursdays and Saturdays. So Monday night we'll be doing that again with the Spelljammer campaign that we're building for the Mecha Kaiju, and that's coming along. So that's going really well. But the point was. Is that game design isn't the same as editing, because during the game design I get to talk through the process of like why are we building it this way and what kind of resources we need and how do we need to word this to cover the like any caveats and shit that are needed. I think the design streams are they feel very, very different from like just actually doing like editing and page layouts and stuff, which is basically me muttering the same sentence over and over again. Hitting enter, tab, erase a word, add another one in, and then move along. I know that design does that sometimes too, but that's all I get to do when I'm doing page layouts and editing like that. So it's not good content, is what I'm trying to say. Long story short, too late, Kearney. That's boring content, and I don't want to curse anyone with it. So I do that stuff off screen because it's less stimulating, it's less visually stimulating, and it doesn't. And this is a much more free space for me to be able to talk and rant about stuff like this that's on my mind. So, the end. Sorry. Can you tell? I'm having a bit of a morning. I really like to see some loose jawbones in the muck, especially considering none of the skeletons have jaws yet. Yeah. I'm gonna put flesh over a lot of their faces, and once I start doing that, then we'll start like crooking off teeth and stuff like that. These are kind of like skeletal mannequins, where like this one's sticking out like this. He's gonna be good as is. This one's probably gonna be pretty much good as is, but this one as well. But anything that's actually inside the interior of the mass, we can flesh up a lot and zombify. But yeah. You know the process, Diff. You know where we're heading. But yeah, absolutely. I agree. Stray bones and shit. Once I get the mask down, we start defining things, then we'll be able to suss out where all those bits are at. I have coffee over here, and I'm going to take a sip of it. I'm still on. This is like day 64 of being decaffeinated. Decaf coffee. I found a recipe, or rather YouTube fed me a recipe for making milk, making bread from powdered milk, baking soda, and egg, and it creates a completely carbohydrate, zero carbohydrate bread that you air fry to create, and reportedly it tastes like croissants when you do it. Like it has that fluffy, like that light butteriness to it. So I got all the ingredients to do that yesterday, and at lunch today I'm gonna bake that, or fry that really. I'm gonna make that bread, and if it works out well, it should be a decent bun for me to cook. I'm gonna cook up some chicken and make some Chick-fil-A style sandwiches. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited. It has a ton of potential. So I'm really excited and looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. Let's push this spine like this. There. Push this in a little bit like that. There, that should be pretty good. I can go ahead and merge that down. And we'll just keep working our way across the body, making these things happen. Hey, what's up? Wish you luck. I'm cooking Thanksgiving. Oh my God, good luck. Are you doing turkey, ham, or lobster, or something different? And how are you prepping it? We usually have maybe like 10 people. We're part of a family collective, so we'll have about 10 people that go to our Thanksgiving, and we're most likely going to have both spiral ham and fried turkey, deep fried. Really looking forward. I love Thanksgiving. It is my favorite holiday. It is a holiday. It's the whole purpose of the holiday is for family gathering. So you have people that you love that are around you, and the whole shtick of Thanksgiving is let's eat a lot of food and pass out watching football. Like, that's awesome. And I'm not a football fan, but making fun of football during football, heckling football games is my favorite Thanksgiving activity. I don't watch football at all unless I'm at a sports bar and I'm eating a burger or whatever and it happens to be on, or it's Thanksgiving. And when it's Thanksgiving, I heckle it, and it's fun. Like, I'll just make fun of stupid people doing stupid shit, or comment on bad calls or whatever. It's fun. The sass is always different because the players are always changing. But the sass remains. It's fun. That's my football holiday. Yeah, love Thanksgiving. Everything from scratch as much as possible. Nice, man. Turkey, ham, mashed taters, green beans casserole. Nice. Sweet tater casserole. Love sweet tater. Mac and cheese is classic. Pumpkin pecan pie for life, my man. Good spread. Not chocolate pecan. Like that's like putting a hat on a hat, It's like a regular pecan pie. Just fucking candied pecan. So good. Love that business. God, Thanksgiving just has the best food. Just the best fucking food, man. It's like a bunch of really kick-ass dishes that you only have once a year. Like, if I had pecan pie all the time, pecan pie would not be amazing, but I pretty much only have pecan pie on Thanksgiving. It's like, oh God, it's so good. Because again, moderation. Things that are awesome in moderation remain awesome. It's the rarity of it, and the quality of that rarity. It's just, it's so good. Anyway, ramble, thunderclatter. Let's keep pushing pixels here, Kearney. You're making the blood. I think it's coming along really nicely. I'm really happy with where we're at. I'm starting to run out of steam inside here, so I think I'm going to just push back out here into the in the fringes. Let's get there we go. Yeah, we're good. Let's smooth this one out. I love the claw, like how we have like this claw effect going, like 2 or 3 talons rising out of these tentacles, because they're grabbing at, they're trying to grab at the artifact that the characters took. So having a clawing effect, I think, feels right here, and it helps differentiate it from other type of tentacle creatures. But I like that aesthetic. I'm very happy with it. I do a lot of tentacle porn. No, it's tentacles. I like making tentacle monstrosities and Cthulhu type stuff. I enjoy. It's like, that's misleading. Earth porn is when you're taking gorgeous images of the planet Earth, and so that was not an accurate statement. But that's what I mean, anyway, it's the making the gorgeousness of making Cthulhu-like eldritch terror tentacles is what I'm trying to say there. I enjoy I didn't filter my brain on that one. I didn't think through what that would say. But regardless, I love creating the curves and the writhing tentacles in eldritch horror type stuff. That is what I meant. Is the beauty of well-crafted tentacles. Yeah, that's gonna get clipped. That is totally gonna get clipped. Transcriber, I can't. Badass apple pie, nice. 1 a.m. It's curve this through. There we go. Nice. Yeah, it's a lot of effort to try to smooth them out, like get rid of the little burrs and stuff like that. But it's, it's quality time, and it's better skills. Every time I do this, I'm improving the quality of my brush strokes, my accuracy, my targeting. Everything is in art. Everything is honing your skills. I am every line, every time I carve like this, I'm becoming better at using these tools, so that it becomes easier and easier for me to make good curvature like this. I really do a lot of tentacle stuff, like writhing masses, necrotic oozes. I've done a number just like this past year. I think I've done 3 of them. Well, I mean, we have like 2 more of them in this book, and like shambling mounds and otyugs, those have tentacles, and the kaiju that I did, the space kraken that had tentacles. We have some eldritch horror in the Theurgy book that we created, but that was probably like 3 years ago. That's been a while. But yeah, I think we did in the past maybe like in the past 15 months, we've done probably four paintings with tentacles in them. I really think there's a parallel world where I do a lot of Cthulhu art. Pretty sure of it. But I like where I'm at. I'm going to carve into that. Make sure I get this curve good. There and there. That's gonna get it. Smooth that out. There. Good. Okay. See, that looks really good. Nice and smooth now. And we just keep working the angles until it's good. Apparently there's some burrs over here that I just saw. Always fighting the burrs. So satisfying, just making curves. Like when you start an arc and it hits perfectly at the end point that you needed. Oh, I love that. It's like when you pull out your keys and you put it to the lock and it's like 100% aligned. It just slides into the lock and clicks. Like zero friction. So, God, this is like, what perfect aim. It's like a basketball hoop with no net. This is like perfect. I love that. It's just perfect. Feels so good. There we go. Nice and smooth. Nice and smooth, just like that. Easy peasy. Over here I need to get rid of. There we go. And then we can have this drip off here. I like that. I see text. What's up? Hey, Ryan, man. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. Thanks for swinging by. I'm going to be out of here in about 10-15 minutes myself, so I hope you have a great day. I'll catch you in the future at some point, man. Cheers. Let's keep this going. Out here like that. Make a hook out of this and we'll clean it up. Get our tentacles and our talons. Go. There, like that. And then we'll like this. A little bit thicker there. There we go. goopy loopy offshoot over here. I love these little drips. So fun. It's just I just like feel I just like creating the weight of the goop painting. It feels so cool to do that. Slide that down like that. Yeah, I'm gonna end up spending more time on this than I thought I was. I can tell already. I could potentially have it done tomorrow if I wanted to spend time. Again, I don't want to spend time on it in the evening because we're doing, book design. Like we're doing book structure, infrastructure, hyperlink infrastructure right now. I guess that's the best way of putting it. Hyperlink infrastructure. That is what we are focusing on. So what will happen is once the book is properly built out, we'll start creating little pockets for the artwork to sit inside of, and then we'll import the artwork. I might show you guys that process, like just for a little bit. Not right now. But probably like next week or two. Yeah, I think the first week of December we should be hyperlinking stuff. So, and then we can, or rather, we'll be hyperlinking stuff and looking at the initial asset placement, like visual asset placements into the book itself. And so I'll show you guys how I do that. So I just use Microsoft Word and build everything in there, and then convert that into a PDF and publish it on DMsGuild. It's Microsoft Word is actually a really, really good program. It's done. I've used it for literally every book that I've created so far, and it's great. I love it. We'll just convert these images to like 150 pixel images, and then import the images into the Photoshop. I can drop the pixel depth to 150 because that's the highest resolution that Word documents carry, and all my other books have that same resolution limit, and they all look great. So it hasn't eroded the quality, even though it's not as high a high DPI volume as, because it's not going to get printed. So I don't have to worry about I don't have to worry about what the resolution is for the print. It's just digital. That makes it a lot easier for me to work in a lower resolution to keep the file size smaller, because these things are like, this is a 200-page book. It's big. So it's gonna have many megabytes. It'll like once it publishes as a PDF, it'll probably be 70 megabytes. It'll be close to probably like around 800 megabytes as a floating Word document as I process all the images and stuff like that into it. It's going to be huge, and I suspect I'm going to have to use import links. I'll have to create a folder to keep all the art assets, a separate ordered like an insert folder, so that when I open up the document, it'll grab all the hyperlinks of all the images from my drive and drop them into it, so it's not actually holding that information in the Word document itself. It's importing that information into the document, and that should make it light and nimble enough to be able to edit well. But if I just actually just import images, like if I actually paste images into the Word document, it gets huge. So I've never had a document this large, so I've never needed to do import links. I could always actually just paste all the images into the document itself. But I think this one's going to be too large to do that, so I'm learning how to use those import links And I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, I'm going to give myself just another few minutes. It's 7:50 here in Seattle, which means it's just about time for me to go. I got to go to my day job. We were talking earlier today about the Spelljammer Mega Kaiju campaign, and we're going to be further developing that this evening. And so we'll be here tonight at 6:30 Seattle time. That'll be about 10.5 hours from now. We'll be back on stream working on the Spelljammer stuff. And then I like this pocket here. I like that these are like bubbling. I want to have a little bit of this red on the surface of this shape here, so that we can see the hollows of how this ooze. It's not like a solid ooze. It's almost like a parachute, you know, like an empty bag, like a plastic bag in the wind, like American Beauty style. And then the edges of it coalesce into these ooze tentacles. So it's a shape. It's empty and full, and it has form, but it's liquid. It's interesting. It's fun to do. So I want to play with these shapes and this fade a little bit more. A lot of subtle fading that we're doing in this piece. I'm loving it. Just loving the gradation of it. Such a fun piece. It'll take us, we'll probably be working on this probably till Friday. Maybe even Monday next week. But oh yeah, it's Thanksgiving week. So yeah, so I'll be here tonight for the Eberron Spelljammer stream. We'll be here tomorrow morning for more artwork with this. Wednesday morning we'll be here working on this. And then Thursday is Thanksgiving, so I will not be around in the morning or in the evening, but Friday I have a vacation day to extend the holiday, but I'm going to be here pretty much alone. So I'll be able to stream Friday morning like usual, and then to make up for the lost Thursday night, I'll be streaming probably like around 2 o'clock Seattle time on Friday, and run for 3 or 4 hours before I have my normal Friday night out fun times. Smooth that down, create that shape, smooth this into here. This is feeling really, really good. So there, and then we'll have this finished up tomorrow, and we'll be working on over here. We'll have all these edges and probably these skeletons resolved by Wednesday. Skip Thursday, back on Friday. I can have an extended session on Friday. We'll add in flesh, zombify some of these skeletons in here. Maybe if I do like a 3-hour stream on Friday morning, maybe we'll actually be able to get this piece done by then. It's possible. It's possible. We might have to extend out to Monday, but we'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and kick out of here for now, guys. Thanks a lot for hanging out. Thanks a lot to the new subscribers. Really appreciate that. God, I appreciate you so much. And thanks for letting me be here with you guys. So I'll see you all in 10.5 hours for some Eberron stuff, and then I'll be back tomorrow morning. So cheers. Appreciate you guys.